This new Land Cruiser might just be a big flop. I'll include a link to the Ford & Draper's website in the description down below, the providings for this particular Land Cruiser. If you have any questions, just ask for Scott. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood is a turbo hybrid 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic. Power outputs are 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. You're supposed to be able to get 22 around town, 25 on the highway. Good luck. We're closing in on 500,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now it looks like this trail dust color is here to stay, at least for the time being, and I think it's a pretty cool looking color. Now the upgraded Land Cruisers get the rectangular headlights with the daytime running light. You have the rigid fog lights that are color changing if you get the high-end package too, and then you can see the Heritage Toyota grille, and by grille I meant Heritage Toyota logo. Got it mixed up in my brain. Anyways, boxy front end. Tire wheel setup is 265 by 60 by 20. You've got metallic gray on the wheels, and you can see the chunky fender flares. This one has fixed side steps. We've got blacked out mirror caps and door handles, and then this one has the two-tone roof setup. And from my understanding, with the Heritage Blue, you can do a different color. I think it was black or something for 26. Just verify that on Toyota's website, but they are kind of adding a little bit more color customization for the Land Cruiser. When it comes to key fob features, we've got our lock and unlock function. You got the opening for the hatch and then the Toyota logo at the bottom, Land Cruiser there on the back. While we're out back, we'll pop the window first. So that's one way to access the rear, and I actually like that. But it's funny that the Land Cruiser is more expensive than the 4Runner has a manual window. Well, it's not manual, is the hatch, that is power. Some USB ports in the back, and then this one has the mat covering that goes over the load floor. Oops, didn't mean to pull that up. It's stuck to it. That's weird. Anyways, we do have an upgraded 2400 watt outlet, and yes, this still has not great storage space because of the battery. That won't ever change. Boxiness, it's in the taillights too. And then you got the rest of the badging and everything here in the back. And somehow, even with the cover off of the receiver hitch, it just doesn't look good. That will cap things off for the exterior of this Land Cruiser. This week's giveaway makes my Jeep look lame because it is a supercharged Rubicon 392 that is fully decked out, producing 650 horsepower. Now, not only can you win this Rubicon 392, but part of the giveaway is also $26,000 in cash to help pay for the taxes. And not only that, your donations go towards helping children's and veterans charities. So use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. Any donation, $25 or more, will give you 4x bonus entries. Let's now check out the interior. Now you can see there's some kind of soft touch down below with the stitching too. Nice trim. And then there's something to note about the loaded up Land Cruiser. I mean, the seats are really nice too with the materials. A pretty good legroom back here. Little storage pocket, my own climate zone with some USB ports. And then headroom's kind of okay. This does kind of pop down a little bit, but then this raises up towards the back. Keyless entry for up front, and let's check it out. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors, and then down below you've got memory seats. The mirrors power fold in. You've got all of your window controls, more of that soft touch trim on the door panel. And by the way, just regular glass. 1,100 pounds of payload capacity with this too. The front seats have more of that nice trim, power adjustable with lumbar support too. We've got some trailer brake controls, the opening for the hatch. You can also turn off like the safety tech with those controls, and then the fog light color change feature. Soft touch all around the steering wheel, Toyota logo there in the center. And then you got practical controls on either side for like the volume controls, phone controls, adaptive cruise control with your lane centering. Traditional stocks there on the back too. Very customizable center gauge cluster, so you can change the theme of the gauge cluster, also just the information that's displayed within the gauge cluster. And then it will give you kind of a fun animation or drive through with the different drive modes depending on what you have selected. This also comes with a heads-up display. There's more nice trim all across the dash. 360 camera system with this, good resolution with the camera, and it does fill in underneath the vehicle as well when you move. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, it is pretty quick to respond with that little sidebar. And there's quite a few different menus you can go through, but yes, Toyota's newest system. It does have a physical volume control too. We've got our dual zone climate controls for up front, heated and ventilated seat controls, as well as some vents, and then there's more nice trim. Drive mode select, you've got the little camera shortcut button, and then you can switch to the multi-terrain and crawl control, and ooh, sun got in our way, but the controls will, whatever you have selected, go into the dial to adjust the rest of the feature. Phone charging pad with some USB ports, Some cup holders, of course you got like a real shifter. I mean, this is one thing I do like about the 250 is the shifter actuation actually feels pretty good. Now this is full-time four-wheel drive, and you'll notice that this one's got all of the features. So you've got obviously the center and rear diff lock, which are going to be standard, but the stabilizer bar disconnect, that is something that is optional now. This one also has the refrigerator center console. There's some nice trim on the top there. Camera rear view mirror, and then we do have a regular sunroof. Now a fully loaded new 250 Land Cruiser, I mean, you're getting into the mid $70,000 range at that point, but let's see how it performs. Fuel economy indicated on this 18 miles per gallon. Again, I averaged between like 15 to sometimes 18 miles per gallon in my 250 when I did the long-term test. It was not what you would think given what this is rated for, but that's the reality of it. And you know what's really sad is I have the exact same tires and wheels on my new LX, which is a 300 series that I had on the 250. That is a heavier vehicle with a bigger engine, way more power, just drives way better. Such a much better car. And I'm getting about 18, I'm getting close to, like, my fuel economy is still kind of cycling through. But yeah, there it is. I'm closing in on 18 miles per gallon, and I think that I'll be there in a pretty short period of time. So yeah, it's not economical in the real world, especially if you do aftermarket tires and wheels like I did. And compared to the other Toyota product, because the GX doesn't suffer from the same problems, the LX doesn't seem to suffer from the same problems in terms of losing all of its fuel economy than this. And then you have the fact that you guys will see in a moment, this doesn't really handle as well as the Lexus vehicles, right? The GX handles better and the LX handles better. So I think that, like, I mean, I'm constantly seeing these getting traded in at dealerships with low mileage, and I think there's a reason, right? People get this and they think, oh, Land Cruiser, and it looks cool, and then they drive it for a while, and just like me, they are left with massive disappointment. Like, it's kind of fun how tippy it is when you go around corners, but it's like, man, this really does not handle compared to the other new Toyota products. And then you get the wind noise. Now you do get that in the GX too, so I'm not gonna like just give this a big pass, but I will say the GX, you can get it with acoustic glass, which does minimize some of the noise. I spent so much money on that LX, and sometimes I'm like, man, was it worth it? Like, other than the YouTube series, which I think the YouTube series will be worth it, but getting back into this, I'm like 100%. It was 100% worth it. Even outside of the YouTube series, like, I'm so glad that I don't have to drive this thing anymore on a daily basis. It's not the worst thing on the planet. It's just a miss. It's that simple. It's just a miss. Now, I will say some things I do like about this. I did like how this drove off-road from a suspension comfort standpoint, and how controllable it is. But then the ground clearance is so bad that it's like, well, that sucks. So in summary, this was traded in a Ford dealership. They probably bought a Bronco because they probably wanted a Bronco-like experience, but more insulated, right? Not a convertible. And then they go and drive this thing and they're like, yeah, I'm okay with dealing with more wind noise to have something that drives, that actually drives halfway decent, you know? I think that the starting point is not great, but I do think that Toyota can fix this. I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. Here's how they fix the 250. Offer a V6 that is in the GX, so then you can clear up things underneath, right? Because the hybrid stuff hangs down kind of low. So V6 option, EKDSS, front locker, lift it just like the GX. The GX has a 1-inch lift, so it sits a little bit higher. If they did all that with the 250 Land Cruiser, my complaints would be gone. I would have nothing to complain about with it. Absolutely nothing. But I highly doubt they'll do that. I think that they want to keep the GX special, and so really, like, what it comes down to is, if you're gonna buy a new Toyota SUV, and I'm gonna make a more in-depth video about like which ones you should look at, but like if you're looking at the Prados, if you can afford the LX, man, I love it, but it's ungodly expensive. If you can afford it, it's nice. If it's not in the budget, or you don't want to spend the extra money, the GX Overtrail is by far the best that you can get in the US market right now with the Prados. Nothing else can beat the GX Overtrail. So I will save you the roughly $5,000 to $10,000 that you'll lose if you go and buy one of these and then trade it in, because that's probably about, yeah, if you went and just bought one of these and put 1,400 miles on it, you probably lose about at least $5,000 if not $10,000. Get yourself on a GX list, and if you have to stay within the Toyota product. If you're looking for like just a luxury kind of like boxy on-road, I'm going to be reviewing the new Defender soon. Stay tuned for that. I think that might actually be the route to go, because Land Rover's apparently made it more reliable. So I'll see you.